Yo, this is DTM, DeltaTangoMike on all the social medias, and I think we are ready to get started with another coffee break with DTM. I know we are. We're just doing it. All right? So get ready for a good show. Let's go. And this is the moment that people can see a picture of myself drinking coffee,
Okay.
and they can hear me, and that's okay
Oh
because
my
it's live, and they can hear
gosh.
your phone going off and mine,
Yep.
and that's why we had this moment. And turn on the layers because I turned them off. So turn them all on, and then just get ready for the coffee. And it's okay to be on your phone because this is live, and it's social media. It's part of social media, except you're not on Facebook, so you can't see the video.
No.
It's all right. It's okay.
So does it like after it's uploaded to Facebook? Do you like post it on?
I posted on YouTube, and so
Okay.
then I can send you a link to download the video because the purpose of Coffee Break with DTM is to have a conversation about entrepreneurship, creativity, talent, and the history and decisions that artists have made to become the artists that they are today, or the artists they're going to become in the future. And so I make sure that whoever we have here, they get a copy of the video. They can use it on their website, YouTube, whatever. It doesn't matter. That's kind of how it goes. All right.
Okay,
So we're
cool.
gonna introduce an amazing, talented artist. She is one of my favorites. I look at her artwork all the time because it's really um, very friendly for children, child friendly. That's what I
Okay.
think. And my art is not. So I try. All right. So without further ado, a sip of coffee and say hello. How are you?
Hi everyone. I'm well. How
You're-
are you?
I am good. Tell us your name and where are you from?
My name's Imani. I go by the art name Imani JC. I'm from San Jose, California.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been here for about a year.
A year still? No. Has it been a year?
Yes.
No.
Already.
Because
Like
I met you.
full time,
Oh, yeah?
a year. Before then, I was here on and off for about 4.5 years.
Oh, so you've been back and forth and
Yeah.
stuff back and forth. I got you.
Yeah.
All right, cool. In a couple of weeks, I will be up in San Francisco.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, not San Jose, but
Oh.
still the same area.
So, what is that for?
My wife's going to some conference, so I'm going. And then I'm going to LA, so I'll be up in that area.
That's awesome.
Hmm I like traveling back and forth. It's really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Cool. That's our San Jose, California reference. All right. Yeah, that's cool. That's nice. So tell me, what brought you to Atlanta?
School. I came for college. Graduated
Uh-huh.
from Spelman. Then after that, I decided to stay here to work on my career as an
Okay.
artist. I felt like with the demographic I was trying to reach, being here was the perfect idea. Now though, I've started to look into like other mediums and trying to figure out um, what area is preferable for what I'm trying to get into. So with animation, now I'm starting to wonder if maybe a different state would be the better choice. But right now I'm just taking it day by day.
Exploring your options.
Yes, I'm getting more into murals.
Oh, nice.
So,
nice. What you
that's-
work on recently?
Well, right now I'm working on something with Hodgepodge Coffee. I'm just painting a mural for their space, the one that's currently off of Moreland.
Okay.
I know they have a new location, but I'm not painting anything there. But pretty much there were so many murals on the wall, but I noticed that there were, I don't think there were any of people of color. So I was just like, maybe I could just draw someone of color. And she was like, yeah, totally. So that's something I'll be doing next week.
Okay.
And then I submitted to the Beltline.
Nice.
We'll see.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping because the proposal, I really am passionate about that proposal. And then there's so many other artist calls that I'm entering here, but none of them are in animation because I feel like that's something that is kind of like more California based, and that's what I'm finding out. But then I met someone,
Right.
and now I'm just like, well, maybe I just haven't met my group yet.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say that's gonna be the answer, that you have not met your group, because there's a big, robust animation industry in Atlanta.
Okay.
It's huge, and they actually have a meetup coming up in a week or two, and there's actually one meetup tonight with Asifa, South, and
Okay.
that is at the Joystick Bar.
I
It's
just
free.
went there.
Yeah, so
Okay.
so they're gonna be there tonight. Ginger uh, is the CEO of Asifa South, and they are nothing but animators.
Okay.
So you need to go hang out and say what's up,
Yes.
and then what is the other one? The comic and animation group, and they meet at Hodgepodge the second or first or second Tuesday of the month. So I know if you do, see, you're not on Facebook, not Facebook. And I'm gonna say this, and I don't know your situation, and I'm not gonna try to get into it, but when artists do not involve themselves on when artists leave Facebook or don't want to touch Facebook, it's because there's a lot of negativity and propaganda. I will admit to that. But it comes down to how you use it. You have to use it as a resource for information, like what I just shared with you, and a place to collaborate and find the people in your industry. And don't get caught up into being friends with the folks you went to high school with or college, because they're not all necessarily in your same mindset.
Right.
So it's real easy to get caught up into dialogue and discussions that don't not lead to positivity, and then that's when a lot of people say Facebook is a problem, and it's not that Facebook is a problem, even though social media is a problem, but the problem is really the people you have connected with, and so my philosophy is to only be friends or connect with people who have like-minded and really who are artists, and they feel that the need to share and focus on their career.
Okay.
That's it. So, any case, that's just my little 2 cents for anybody who's watching and how you think about and look at Facebook.
Yeah, like my friend's been trying to get me on Facebook, and I tried it once, and it was just so difficult to understand it, and I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna stick with Instagram.
Yeah.
Because like Tumblr, I was on Tumblr like a lot. I was a heavy user of Tumblr, and that worked for me like perfectly. And then people were like, "Oh, that's actually difficult to use," and I'm like, "Really?" So maybe it just takes more time.
They're all different, and they all have their nuances and preferences and reasons.
Yeah.
So here's a big picture how you look at social media and how they work and why they work. Is that a long time ago, and this is one of my entrepreneurial talks. I'm getting off track because we're here to talk about you, but let me say this part. So a long time ago, and this is before you were around, right? Because I'm a little older. There was only television, radio, and newspapers. If you wanted an advertisement, you get on the yellow pages and stuff like that. And nobody ever pays attention to yellow pages anymore.
Right.
And so there were only very few ways to advertise, and they were expensive. So let's say the murals, and we'll talk more about your career in a little bit, but I know you enough to know that you do children's illustrations and do a lot of illustration work. So if you're looking for illustration clients, then you'd have to advertise in one of those medias. And that was very expensive to do. And so what the internet has done is to given us all access, and these websites have been created, and a long time ago, MySpace, and of course, Black Planet, and I'm old. And then before that, it was Yahoo and a whole bunch of GeoCities and all this other stuff. And so what happened is that it gave a platform for people to connect, and that's what Facebook's supposed to be about, connecting people and so on. But was really become is a place to advertise and promote your talents, which is what we're doing with this live stream. We're talking about our talents, about our work, and what we know how to do, and then it just kind of expands your audience. And the wider your audience is, the easier it's going to be for you to find your clients.
Okay.
And that's what social media is really now. It become a place to advertise and promote, but you want to do it with a purpose, depending on which platform you're on. They all have a different purpose and a different way of working. And there, you have a smartphone, so it's an app that is free to use. There's no such thing as free, but we're gonna go with that for now. And so you're able to access and share so that people can come to you and find you. And that's how we use it today. So now we have, instead of just the Super Bowl commercial, once a year to tell people about your product, you have every day you can post something, you can share something. Instagram's about the pictures, and maybe that's how you feel very comfortable because it's all visual. Twitter is about that one sentence and some hashtags. Facebook is about either video, pictures, or text. And so then that's when you start figuring out, well, what kind of mediums do I prefer? How do I like to express myself? And what can I use to get a wider audience and build clients? That's the big picture.
Yeah.
But it becomes part of a strategy once you know what you want. And I think that's what artists need to focus on, is figuring out what kind of job do I want, or what kind of freelancing career do I want, what kind of entrepreneur am I, and then I'll find the things that work for me.
I definitely want to connect with parents, so I that's why I should probably be going towards Facebook because there's groups with parents.
That's right.
And all that other stuff. So then all of a sudden, you see your art, or they see your artwork, and then they're like, oh, well, let me share it with someone else. And like,
yeah, exactly.
It makes sense.
Yep, there you go. I have no stock on Facebook, so I'm not trying to sell you Facebook. But in any case, that is my entrepreneur talk, and that's a little bit about how I share some of the things that we use today. All right, so let's get back to your story. And please tell us about your early experiences with art. What were they? What inspired you? How old were you?
Oh, goodness. So the earliest example I can think of is like Happily Ever After. That was something my mom allowed me to watch when I was like, four or five. It was on HBO, and it was like fairy tales for every child. They were all children or fairy tales of color, featuring protagonists of color. So Cinderella was a black woman. Sleeping Beauty was black.
That's
the
cool.
Mermaid was Asian. So it was just that kind of thing. So I wound up, and my mom only allowed me to watch things like that. So when I went to primary school, primary school, I remember someone telling me, like, drawing Cinderella, and I had no idea Cinderella was a white woman with blonde hair and blue eyes. I thought she looked like me because of what my mom only allowed me to watch. So when I realized that wasn't the norm, I started to really notice things that my parents intentionally started purchasing for me. Sea Bear and Jamal, Tell Me Who I Am. It was a film about, like, these elementary students who were learning about their culture, and there were characters named Imani and Jamila, and oh goodness, there's so many things.
Nice.
But that's what got me into art, and when I found out how rare it was to find things like that, that's where I really became focused on creating art similar to what I was brought up watching.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. So what you were watching inspired you.
Oh, yeah.
And you got going. So here you are in school, middle school. Are you doing art? Are you entering contests or taking art classes?
No, actually. In middle school, I wasn't really that artistic. I was mainly very dramatic. I was into drama. Yeah,
You were dramatic?
Oh, yeah. I was into theater. I was into plays. And I thought, in fact, I wanted to go to college for theater.
Okay.
And yeah, that didn't work out because I have stage fright. So,
What?
But, yeah, so I blame being homeschooled after junior high. I went back to being homeschooled, and I don't know what happened, but that's when I was actually able to pursue my art because I learned about deviant art. I was on IMVU where people were getting paid to like edit like DPs, which are display pictures on IMVU, and I was like, people get paid? What?
Right.
So I started learning, and that was my first. That was another situation where I asked people to draw my avatar or my OC, which is my original character, and I made her look like myself, dark-skinned, with locks and, like, earth tones. People would say, I can't draw her. I don't know how to draw her. And I was just like, how do you not know how to draw? Like, it's literally a color difference,
Right.
And that's when I said, you know what? I'm going to draw it myself. So I remember, I think it was my 15th birthday. Someone gave me money, bought my tablet, and just drew.
Hold on. Wait a minute. What? It was your birthday, so somebody gave you money, and bam, you bought a tablet.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, because I used to use mouse and use GIMP. Oh, that was horrible.
You do what you can, what you got.
Yeah.
And what kind of tablet did you get?
Wacom.
Mm-hmm.
And
was it like a Intuos or Bamboo, or was it
Oh,
a display?
bamboo.
Display one? Okay.
Bamboo.
The bamboo.
And now I have. It finally broke like a couple of months ago. I was so sad. But it was mainly, I don't know why. I don't know why it broke, but anyway, I replaced it and got a new one. It's like a square. So now it's like, wow, now I'm noticing all these things that have changed with the times. So now I'm
So
like,
you had that one from when you were 15?
to now, yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
It lasted forever. I took care of that baby. So now I'm using a different one. It's always going out. I'm just like, see, this is why. I should have kept the other one, but it's working for me too. So.
Nice. So you started doing more drawings and
Yes.
interacting with the artist community online, because DeviantArt is online.
Oh, yes. I learned so much. The one thing I did learn was about valuing my art, the value of my art. On DeviantArt, they have points. So like 5 points is 5 cents. But 5 cents in DeviantArt is like worth a lot for people who have no money. But when you're trying to make money, it's nothing. So there were artists that were undervaluing their work, saying, oh, I'll do this for you for 20 cents. And then there were people who were charging 200, and it made them look like their prices were crazy when that was only, what was it, $2?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So it became like this competition, and I remembered going to a lot of those talk boards or whatever boards, and really discussing it and trying to understand what the issue was. And I'm still learning about the value of my work. I think I do undersell because I don't think people know my artwork yet. So I'm trying to get it out there instead of before I don't know how to say this without like insulting myself, but I am willing to undervalue my work if my work is out there. Because once enough people see it, I know that it's going to get the value I feel it deserves. So
I hear what you're saying, and it makes sense. Undervalue is not the word you want to use, but
okay.
But it sounds like you're saying that you willing to put your artwork out there in the right situation, even if it doesn't pay you what the amount that you feel it deserves.
Yes.
Because it's going to put you in a position where you can get more eyeballs on it and then be able to charge a little bit more than what you're trying to charge right now.
Yeah.
And it still sounds a little crazy, but that kind of fixed it a little. But yeah, I get what you're saying, and I think that's natural, because that's the path of the artist and the creative person, is that you want to open your arms to the opportunities, and so when you hold strong on a position of your price point, then it may keep some people at bay, but that's okay depending on your situation. If you have a job, if you have another source of income, then you can hold out a little bit longer. But if this is your only source of income, then you're really trying to capture as many dollars as you can, and that puts you in a little bit of a disadvantage at times.
Yeah, it's my only source right now. I did that on purpose, mainly because I noticed that when I worked other positions, this wasn't my focus. My artwork, I put it to the side. I was like, well, I'm getting money here, here, and here. This is how I'm getting that money. I don't need to really focus on my art until I want to.
Right.
But when it's my only focus, I have no other thing to do but to do this. And well, like I do work another job where I'm an art teacher, but I want to make sure that everything I do is art related, because I feel like by throwing myself into the industry that I'm trying to really be part of, it just makes me work harder.
And you have to work harder. You really do. It's like 2 jobs: the art, the creative, and then the business.
Oh yeah.
That's right. It's full time. So let's talk about your career choices, because I know you're a very smart, super hardcore, smart person.
Okay. Thank you.
Because you said so you chose to go to Spelman.
Yes.
And what was your focus?
Studio art.
Oh, studio art.
Yeah.
But you had learned to do coding.
Yes.
And how did that happen?
Because I switched majors like 3 times, 4 times.
Oh,
So I
okay.
started as a drama major. I didn't do so well. So then I switched to art then computer science, then back to art.
Okay.
So my parents were very like, "Are you sure you want to do coding?" And I was like, "Yeah, because Pixar." Like I remember thinking that, and then I realized that, oh, okay, this is for rigging and technical art direction. In the technical art direction, if I want to be an animator and a modeler, and that means that's more into the studio art direction.
I see.
So that's why I switched. But I felt like with my background in coding, I could model and rig the character.
So you went full brainiac, and so that you can kind of have that spectrum kind of covered.
Yeah, but it's
That's
like
cool.
I'm not even using it yet, so I'm just like, okay, we'll see what happens. But I coded a game, so that's cool.
Yeah, that
I
is
did
cool.
that in Unity with like the help of Unity, but I'm proud of that. Okay,
That's good. That's good.
So
Because they use animations too.
yes, they do. So that yeah. So yeah.
So it's exploration.
Yeah. I'm wondering if I'm going to stick with it, if that's the direction I want to go in, because I started to kind of mess around with not traditional, but there is still an interest in stop motion. There's still an interest in like 2D drawings, not 3D modeling. So I know you can rig a 2D character.
Yeah.
So that's something to think about. But I know that my focus has changed a lot since like sophomore year of college. So I'm just steadily learning.
Yeah, that's good, and that's a good place to be. Because even as old as I am, and the things that I do, I'm still learning. I'm still learning stuff. I wanna try things out.
Right.
Yeah. You know, but that's all. It's okay to feel that way and to try things out, and just keep in mind that whatever talent you have now that you can monetize, you should do that. You know, and I think that's what you're doing with the murals, with the children's illustrations. That's very awesome. I like that.
Thank you.
So tell us about the projects that you would like to work in. If anybody's watching right now and it's like, oh, I love her work, I wonder if she wants to work in these kind of projects.
Oh,
what kind
goodness.
of projects would they be?
I'm still trying to do more murals. My goal is to have more, I always say my babies on the street. I love just seeing children of color smiling on walls. That's literally my goal. I want to go down every street and just see a child of color just smiling.
Yes.
I feel like that's necessary.
Yes.
I also want to work on an animated short. I'm doing it by myself right now. So that's a lot. Backgrounds, front grounds. Foreground, yeah. I said front ground.
Sure. Why not?
That's why I was like, I made that up, but whatever, I'm going with it. But like the character design, all that, it's taken a lot. Mainly because I have other things I'm also working on. So that's another thing I'm doing.
And what's cool about what you just said, though, is that you want to work on that kind of project, and if that project is not coming around just yet, you're still going to work on a project just like that, even if it's your own personal, so that you can get into that practice, into that flow.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that.
Like I have experience in, well, I feel like background design. I'm working on prop design with another company right now just so I can get experience with that. Character design, once again, I feel like my illustrations are kind of character designs, but it's not because I don't switch costumes. I'm working on like the different shapes, body shapes, hairstyles, silhouettes, things of that nature. I'm working on that now. But yeah, those are like the kind of gigs and opportunities I'm looking for. Just because I feel like that's where I want to be. I want to be in the animation industry, and if I have to use my illustration to get there, my experience in illustration to get there,
then you should do that. Then do it. Yeah, that's how I gotten into animation. I don't know how to animator. I like the art form and how 2D illustration becomes animation, but I don't want to do all that rigging and moving. However, I do a lot of illustration work that ends up in the hands of animators who then make the moves, make the characters move and so on. And so as an illustrator, you can definitely get into animation. It's just finding the right spot, and then being open to learning. That's good.
Always open.
Always open. That's good. So we got two last questions. Number one, where do we find you online? You said Instagram.
Instagram, yes. You might find me on Facebook.
After this,
You might. And it'll probably be Imani JC or lmani JC, depending on what's taken.
We're gonna have to keep the same name no matter where you go.
Okay, well, I
Imani.
want Imani JC, but my name was taken, and I wasn't gonna ask her to change her name. Like, okay, anyway.
Okay.
I'm on YouTube as Imani JC,
Okay.
and those are like the main. Oh, and then my website is imanijc.com. So
Perfect place to find links to everything that you do.
yes. Yeah.
Imani JC. All right, I like that. So last question is, if you can go back in time and talk to that 15-year-old Imani JC when she's spending her birthday money on a tablet, what kind of advice would you give her?
Oh goodness, to remain focused and to really know what she wants to do and what she wants and know what she wants to put out in the world. I think at that time I did not know. I was just like, I'm going to draw something. I just really discovered my mission. Like, I knew what it was, but I was able to actually write it out. And by writing it out, I was able to consistently draw things that followed that mission. At 15, I didn't know.
Okay. Share that mission with us. What is it?
So it's just highlighting children of color, just children that aren't really put in the spotlight, placing them in the spotlight. And when I was younger, I didn't know. I didn't know why. Sometimes I got irritated when I didn't see representation. I didn't know why. I was just like, we do this too. Like, I didn't know why I got so, like, passionate about certain things. And now I can write it, I can communicate it, and I can illustrate it.
That's good. That's right. Awesome. I love that. That's a great mission and vision for the future. And it's good that you're doing it yourself. Not waiting for somebody, not rallying against the system. You're just going to do it.
Yes.
I love it. I like it. I like it. I want to thank everybody who's been joining us. We got a lot of good feedback right now. Lynn Hansen, she says, try Imani JC Art or Imani JC Artist.
Okay.
I was thinking in my mind, the art of Imani JC.
Okay.
So then if you do that for your Instagram, then that could be your Twitter and Facebook and so on.
Okay.
And because Lynn Hansen says being the same across all platforms is so important. And I believe that also. Because when I tell people DeltaTangoMike, find me anywhere on the internet under DeltaTangoMike, then I don't have to say DeltaTangoMike on Facebook, but then it's also DTM on Instagram, and then I have to give them like the whole different stuff. So I just say it all the way across DeltaTangoMike, and so that kind of gets in people's head. The brand builds, and then they just go out there and find me.
Right.
So thank you, everybody, for the feedback. Thank you for being here with us today. This is Coffe Break with DTM. We're at Cinamaker Studios.
Yes.
Living the good life, being the artists that we love to be. See y'all next time. Thank you very much. I can hear myself back there.